Here's the first look into what really put the channel together when we named it and called it the Rusty Trout. Here's the garage. Trying to get it emptied out enough that we can get a car parked on the right side. The 64 F100 actually lives in here on this left side that's open that you can see. But we'll post this up here and kind of focus on some of the older stuff, given I think I'm going to put this up on Garage Journal on the vintage tools section just to kind of show my general workshop setup. But here's an old Craftsman block grinder on the stand. It's a slip roll I picked up a while ago. There's a metal or wood lathe hiding under here. Rockwell wood lathe that I haven't got to do too much with really yet. Just some old cabinets that I've picked up at different sales. This is a W.F. Wells horizontal bandsaw. I actually picked this up. I had to buy basically a 14-foot roller at the same time, which I think actually kept the price down, allowed me to get it. A couple of newer sanders. Here's some old vices. There's a little Rock Island there. There's a Morgan attached to the bench. An old Chief here that I got when my buddy's grandpa passed off his welding stand, so we're going to put that back on my welding table once we get it put together. That down there is a 2-head Atlas drill press. The two sides there, the big heavy cast iron tables in the back of the 64, which I'll show you guys here at the end. Here's the welders, a plasma cutter, Miller 211, a bigger older stick welder that I got, another Miller. It's actually a dial arc with the high frequency, so we'll get TIG capabilities at some point going. Another old cabinet, air line plumbed into this compressor here. Keep going around. This is a 8-inch Rockwell Jointer. Just picked that up not that long ago, maybe a couple months ago. Haven't got the table back on it. It's in pretty good shape. Table's in pretty good condition. Needs a little surface rust, but motor fires up. Should be good. Metal bender. That over there is what's currently my Workbench project. I've got 2 old Matco toolboxes. Actually, they might not be Matco. I think they're Waterloos. And have it somewhat all torn apart, cleaned up, bent back up, primed. Then I've got a couple different cabinets, just kind of metal cabinets that I've gotten for cheap. Same thing, cleaned up, need to get primed. I've got the primer in the living room and just haven't had a chance to get out and prime it all. It's been pretty cold lately. I'm kind of waiting for a slightly warmer day just so it doesn't take forever for it to clear. There's the fly fishing gear over in the corner. There's a bunch of doors going to go in the house at some point. Basically have twice as many doors that I do for the house because I bought the doors that fit first, and then we needed the hardware, and the hardware was going to cost me more than the doors, so I bought another set of doors that actually had the hardware. So I'll have to get rid of the doors, extra doors at some point. Some just miscellaneous projects, some more 64, some F100 parts, 64, 65 F100 parts. It's an old Kennedy bottom, and then that's actually a snap-on middle and top box. Just picked that up. Trying to debate if I'm going to move those along or if I'm going to keep the middle and top box. I haven't really decided. Here's some just miscellaneous metal. Unisaw. This actually is a 3-phase. I picked it up, sold the fence for more than I had into the saw. Bought the 3-phase saw. Actually, it had a VFD attached to it. So bigger part of that is I'm keeping it for a while because that 3-phase has its brother over here, which is a single-phase brother that I bought completely in pieces. All the pieces are down here in the corner, and I figured I'd be able to put that back together easier if I have a assembled one next to it as a guide. Kind of keep going around the outside edge here. This is an Electromechanical drill press. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a Reeves gear. You can switch speeds on the fly. Variable speed. Got that out of a storage container that a guy was selling off a property that was full of abandoned what's it called? Mobile homes and different connexes and things. Some body working tools, miscellaneous electrical motors. Just an old, I believe this might be a Delta or Milwaukee, little tiny saw that I pretty much bought because I was digging the cast iron legs. So I've had it a couple sales. We'll see if anybody's interested in any of the parts or if anybody wants it. The pieces of it, really I'm more interested in the legs than the actual saw, as I don't really have a way to use it. Powermatic Bandsaw, which I'm going to spend some time here, probably today actually, putting the table back on that, getting the blade adjusted. Buddy's going to borrow it. They're going to use it for a Pinewood Derby kind of demonstration thing. Drop that off at his house. He's going to keep that for a little bit. This is a Powermatic belt and disc sander we just picked up maybe less than a month ago. It's 3-phase, so that VFD that you see is actually the VFD that I got off the Unisaw. I haven't tested it to see if it works, but hopefully it does. If it doesn't, we'll take one of those motors that I have on the ground and pop it into that. It's a pretty complete setup, missing the knob there at the top. Kind of reach over here and look because got some stuff blocking the way. There's a big Bisomeyer that I pulled off of actually a Powermatic 66 at one point that I no longer have, that I'm keeping for whichever Unisaw I end up keeping. And then there's the planer. Clean this one up. Actually missed it at a sale the first time and then bought it from the guy again 2 or 3 months later. Went through, cleaned up all the surface rust. Got that cleaned up, nice and shiny. If people are interested, I'll do some different videos of the actual pieces of equipment. Using them, running them. We'll slowly get to see them as we go, but for now, just thought I'd do a brief shop tour, kind of show you what I've got going on right now. Alright, here's the last thing that I just put together out in the garage a little while ago. It took me a little while to do it just from time's sake between fishing and doing other things, but basically took an old arc welder here and threw a handle on it, some hinges on the sides, and cleaned out the guts. Cleaned out the inside. It wasn't working. Got it for cheap at a live auction, and then added on just a couple pieces of metal just to give it a little bit of depth to go with it, and then this piece of basically what they're calling structure wood that I just bought at an auction. It's a pretty cheap piece of I'm assuming pine or something. It's pretty soft, but it kind of has some cool character from being attached to whatever it was attached to, so I went ahead and planed it down and threw some finish on it and polyed and got it all set up together. Looks pretty good. Don't really have a place for it yet, but we're going to find a spot for it at some point. So, thanks.